talk to the voters and stuff. So we need plenty phones. I need a good iPhone because check the phone that you all contact me on, send messages to me while I'm live. So I just told Satish, I have no way to look for information while alive. I have no way to get anything from anybody. So if there's anybody in Trinidad who has a good iPhone that you're not using, you'd like to donate to the Progressive Empowerment Party, it is literally for this. Because I want to free my phone, 682-2110, from being in the lineup. Because my phone is important to the live. So this is what we want. To the foreigners, because this will take some time, a couple days, couple weeks. If you could get us, but it has to be jailbroken. We don't want to have to go through the process in Trinidad. It has to be, as it land, we can slap a B-Mobile or a Digicel SIM in it and rock and roll. So if you could help us, please, thank you very much. But if there's anybody in Trinidad that has a very good iPhone, and I mean, if you want to sell it for small money, I don't think it's tough, but we need it. Or you could lend me, you don't have to give it. I'm just saying. But we need the help for that. Right. Cool. So that's that. I really do. We want Android phones. Those phones are for calls. So they don't have to be the fanciest phones. Ideally, they would have long battery life. That's about it. Those are for calls as long as they could deal with WhatsApp and I guess Facebook, TikTok, social media. It'll be cool. It don't have to be the greatest, the fanciest of the Androids and the Samsungs and whatever. The iPhone should be able to run a live video to this quality or better. Right? Blessed evening. Thank you, Parvati Thomas. If I start to call names to say good evening to everybody, the video will never done. What I want from you all is to let me know as I'm pushing it away from me so that you all can get, so that the TikTokers and the people on Phillip Edward Alexander Live get a whole picture. The people on the Phillip Edward Alexander page get in both my hands. So let's talk. Let's talk what's going on, right? Let's talk this. Everybody is trying to come on board with the Progressive Empowerment Party. We signed up with the Reunited Farmers Alliance, and we're dealing with them. They have their partners. They're scooping up some of the small parties like the Congress of the People. And they practically non-existent anymore, but it's nice to know that they're still there and they still want to come on board with us, and that's fantastic. And everybody who wants to come on board. But the Progressive Empowerment Party still has a political mission, and it doesn't go away. We want to work with everybody, but we are not compromising the mission, which is to rescue everybody. And Trinidadians are realizing that the Progressive Empowerment Party is the only solution to the race and corruption voting. We'll talk a little bit about that too. But you know what they love? They love to know that Phillip Edward Alexander will come in their community, climb over the wall, walk with a sledgehammer, fight for them. They like that. Now, there are some people who come on the chair and say, everybody does do that. Bullshit. Bullshit. Rowley never dirty pants. Rowley never dirty hand. Kamala must never climb a wall in her life. As a politician, now I tell you that I've been doing this. You see, I tell all you, my boy Griffith Gary, he tell me, he said, you're not a politician, you're an activist. And I thought that was the greatest compliment anybody ever gave me in life. Because I entered politics. And I knew that when I entered politics, I was going to automatically become a politician. But if I could have avoided that title, I wasn't too vexed about that. So when Gary told me that, I told people Gary thought he was insulting me. But that was a compliment. I never want to be a politician the way Trinidadian politicians are politicians. I never want to be a stunt artist. I never want to be in this for money. Look at this. 100 black jerseys, what I own and what I wear. I want to tell you something. Make me Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago and I'll do live videos with this black jersey. Because the Prime Minister's job is not to try and make himself royalty. The Prime Minister's job is to fix the country, serve the people. That when he or she goes to bed at night and lays their head on their pillow, they know that they've done everything in their power to make sure that all of the citizens of the great Republic of Trinidad and Tobago are also able to go and lay their heads down safely at home. Tomorrow is another day. That's not counting for those who are at work, of course. They will get to go home and sleep when shift is over. But you must make sure, and somebody told me this, I think it was a priest. He said, what you want for you, want for everybody else. You know how you know what integrity is? Integrity is when you want to live a life the way you want for the people that you love, you want that for everybody else. There are too many people in this country who are disgusting. I hate disgusting, greedy people. I hate disgusting, disingenuous, deceitful, dishonest politicians more than anybody else. There are businessmen in this country that will kill their mother. They will kill their mother for money. They're in a race to reach the end to see who coffin biggest. There's some jackass. I tell all you, I went to Anthony Samka funeral and I peep inside Assumption Church. I sit down outside the pub tent. The Red Country Club. They had shuttles. You swear, King of Trinidad dead. People was at bus. Nobody ain't come. Nobody cared because he was dead. And people don't understand. Unless you're a man that has impacted people's quality of lives and changed it to their betterment, they're not coming to your funeral unless all you was handing out some blue notes and that word ain't spread. But I peep inside Assumption Church to see if it was a larger than normal coffin that they pack some money in, but no, same thing. Joyce Meyer said that. I was watching Joyce Meyer on a sermon once. She said at the end of the game, for you and for me, all the pieces go back in the box. All the pieces go back in the box. No matter how rich, and I realized the other day I was walking up my steps in my house, and I realized that I am richer than Julius Caesar, who was the king of the world. I'm richer than him. I'm richer than kings and queens of England, kings and queens of France and Spain and Russia. I am richer than people who lived in the Winter Palace. I have a better quality of life than all of them. Now, the current king may have a little more. They have people who's cut open his hot dog sausage and put cheese inside it and rest it back in the bread and iron it and make sure. But that's just bullshit. I mean, that's beyond stupid. Now, Eddie Murphy, in Coming to America, he made the perfect mockery of it. And if you have enough money that you could pay people to soap your stones for you, your stones, your bricks, anything that they have that needs soaping, then let them, you know, fine, because it's money. Every dollar beyond need is greed. Look at this. I think they're $40 for one. I have one in the toilet, I have one in the kitchen, I have one in the office, I have one in the car. Buy them in bulk. Nothing fancy. I'm not fancy. I'm not a fancy guy. I know some hairy back little relatives of mine that grow up needing to be fancy. They need it. They need it like a crackhead need crack. They need to compete with one another. I watch them. You have a BMW, I go buy a Benz. You get a Benz, I go buy a Rolls Royce. You have a Rolls Royce, I go buy a toilet on skateboards. I mean, come on. You still. And I tell them, all the big, and all the play they still had to stand up in the toilet. When you cross 55, 56, put your hand on the wall and you're waiting for that pee to come. And they have nothing you could do no more. I'll throw some money at your dick. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. I watch politicians, I watch journalists who took advantage of their opportunities, go and sit down by a doctor and get that diagnosis. I've been telling you all this for years. You get the news, you get the diagnosis. Boy, it's cancer, you know. Get your affairs in order. What are you going to do? Fling money at the diagnosis? I'm going all over the world. I remember Carlos Samga. Anywhere they could have taken him, people shake chicken foot. It doesn't help. It doesn't help. Vitamin 1209, it doesn't help. All people gonna do in your last days is take advantage of you, for more money. I remember Peter George's daughter Natalie, she beautiful. Her husband Sabga, when he get pancreatic cancer, I remember Natalie used to joke when I would go to Panini. She owned Panini, and I'd sit down, and Natalie used to laugh at me. She said, "You don't get tired of this activism thing, boy. You don't get tired because people used to brace. Philip coming to ask them, help us with this now, help us with that now, help us with these poor people, help us with these orphans, help us with these disabled people, help us now, we're going to do something nice for the homeless, help us now, help us help people." And they used to laugh at me. Now Natalie Sabga is one of the biggest activists in the country. And she's the head of the Purple Foundation, which is a foundation to help people with pancreatic cancer. You see, and she's still a beautiful soul. I'm not bad talking her. I'm just saying, most people in Trinidad doesn't understand that life wants to come at you. It is not easy. You get a chance, you get a blind, you get to live well for a while, you get to travel the world and post it on Facebook. Me and my family going to see Neil Diamond in concert. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. Excellent for you. But don't lose sight like Elias, who's driving down Sinclair Boulevard in his Sinclair Avenue in his BMW, and a little wing road slam into him, breaking the major road and kill him. All of it, all the pieces go back in the box. And that will always be in the front of my mind. My dad, his last day, his last night, me, my two sisters, my brother trying to get to Trinidad, but it was COVID and lockdown and all this bullshit. And all of his grandchildren that were in Trinidad, all. And people was fighting for space around our bed to rub his head, massage his shoulders, one on this side rubbing his hand, one on that side rubbing his hand, holding his 2 feet. I there playing music for him, all his favorite music. They left us in complete control of the high dependency unit where he was. It was his last day. My dad, you know, stayed through the night with him, took care of him. He was surrounded by love. But still, with all that we are and all that we wanted, all of the pieces of his life back in the box. And I don't understand people who see it for themselves, but still, I mean, as go to Master of Fades, or let's see me here, right? Fire is real good. I tell people, when I tell them the price, they say, but the man pricey, hey, this kind of quality, come now, man. People just tell me, boy, Philip, you're looking sexier. I tell them, Fires in Master of Fades. But Master of Fades tell me they have a little product, they want to tighten my hair, to lighten the grays a little bit, blend it, it sound nice. Still flicking dye my hair, and I didn't like it. I really didn't like it because this is me now. This is me. It's who I am. So it's still that I run out a little bit. Somebody make a joke with me and tell me 50 shades of grey. Correct. But I won't do that again. Because this is who I am. And I can't escape it. My father make it to 80. I tell myself I'm 56, I'm counting. 24 years. I have 24 years left or more. I'm aiming for that 24. I'm eating well. I'm going to the gym. I'm trying to control my stress. I'm going to the doctors. I'm taking their guidance. I'm taking their advice. Try this. Don't do that. Plenty water. Get plenty sleep. Cool. Trying my best to get the most out of the quality of life because I know. Look at this. October 10th, 2008. Seen all of this? Seen this? Seen all of this? October 10th, 2008. Driving away from Republic Bank Sports Club, me and my then 15-year-old son. I must be driving 25 miles per hour. We had just gone to Republic Bank Sports Club so I could teach him how to play pool. My partner, Vernon Gonzalez, a senior member of the Republic Bank Sports Club, and I know all of them. And Vernon is like family. So, and all of his friends and co-colleagues from the bank, they were there, and we were at a line. And coming out of Barataria, you know, Barataria is a mad place, that part of Barataria, because it's a grid, and they have no signs, and they hardly have signs, and the lines not, you know. So I went back there because Vernon's birthday was a couple of weeks ago, and he invited us back up there, and that was the first time I went there since the accident. I tell him I ain't just stop at Major Road and Minor Road, I stop at people's driveway. But I'm driving, I swear to you, I must be doing 25, 30 miles per hour. And the world just exploded. I mean, the world, that's the only way I can explain to you what happened. The world exploded. I slam against, and the vehicle started to spin, and it tumbled, and I'm hearing the glass. But the first collision, that sound was so violent. And I mean, when it stopped spinning, the driver's side seat, door, is now on the road. And the vehicle is 180 degrees facing the other way. Because a 10-ton truck braked the major road and hit me proper. Not even a brake impression. He didn't know it was a major road. Whatever. Nice. So I'm now down below the steering wheel. But I was driving a Prado. And when I tried to climb out the Prado, I realized this arm was like this. It was a crush, it didn't just break. Because my hand was outside the window. So when it fell over and spun, it spun my arm and crushed it. God bless Godfrey Arajo. God bless Alfred Luseng. God bless the good people at Fraction Orthopedic on Sinclair. Them, frightfully expensive. But an arm is a good thing to have. When I got out the Prado, because I had to climb out the passenger side, my son, who was in the passenger front seat, ended up in the back behind the back seat. But God bless us that night, because the truck hit us 6 inches behind his door, behind the front passenger door. When we got back the Prado, what it did to the Prado is the Prado went in about a foot. You see the dent. I mean, not a dent. It changed the shape of the vehicle. And these are wounds that was just spraying blood. So I'm covered in blood. And the first person to come out, the first car that was behind us, because we all left together, was Vernon, and they didn't see the accident, but he was there, and he was walking towards me, and when he got closer to me, he realized that I was holding my arm because it was broken, and I was just spewing blood, and he just, his knees gave away, and he almost fell down, poor fella. But they put me in his car, and they shipped me to Sinclair Medical Center. I'm blacking out, in and out, and they're trying to keep me awake, and they get me there, and Godfrey Arajo came at some point. The pain and the waves of pain. And I want to tell you, the reason I tell you this story is one day during the 6 months, because it was multiples of surgeries and massive, this is my right arm. This is my right arm. I spent 6 months with my right arm like this. I had to learn to brush my teeth with my left hand. I had to learn to wipe my ass with my left hand. And because I couldn't do that properly, I started bathing every time that I could. Watch now. There's a hairdressing, I don't know if it's still there, in Shops in Marble called Swirls and Curls. That's where I used to go to cut my hair before. Nice people. And my mustache and my beard, I started to look like somebody from a Survivor movie. Anyway, they shaved me, but once when I was in the shower, because I used to have to wait for my mother to come, because my mother would come and put my arm in a garbage bag and duct tape it because the wounds couldn't get wet. If you look into this scar, you will see it's really 3 scars, because they went in there 3 times. I had 4 surgeries. The first surgery, Godfrey Arajo woke me up because it's October the 10th, 2008 this happened. Godfrey around midnight, Godfrey Arajo woke me up at 6 a.m. on the 11th. And he said, we have 2 options. Taking the surgery now to stabilize the arm. I said, what's option B? He said, I was joking. They only have 1 option. I said, let's do it. They took me inside, they put on an external fixator. They sent me home for 22 days with something that, these pads, they're like the same material as diapers, and they wanted the swelling to come down because it was huge. And it was literally bleeding. And they were adjusting this thing, and they had taken multiples of x-rays and stuff to find a way to reattach my arm because it had broken into three different things, and they had to get that back together and to not lose how your arm function. Is real science, and they showed me what it is they were doing. And but one day, when my mother came, and because I was useless to myself, basically, I sat down on a couch for 6 months. I watched Obama become president of the United States. I watched the entire campaign. I watched the United States economy melt down with Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac and the whole housing crisis and all of that. I watched all of that live on TV because that's all I could have done. Sit down and watch TV for 6 months. Anyway, this one time when my mother packaged me up so I could go and bathe, and I'm in the shower and I'm bathing, and this wave of knowing washed over me. You ever experience an awareness that is so complete, like you get the thought full and whole in one, and you embody the thought? It wasn't just something that you were thinking, it was just, this is who you were now. And what the thought was, I didn't lose my son, I didn't lose my life, I didn't even lose my arm. And for all of it, I was still blessed. For all of it, I was still blessed. Lying down in one of the stays in the hospital, because there were 4 surgeries. Terrible, terrible time. And even after the surgery is done, I mean, in the beginning they had staples in my arm, you know, not even stitches, big metal staples, like just to close it. And I remember a girl named Anna Salvatore at a place called Renew. When it was done, they sent me to Renew. And between Anna Salvatore and this guy whose name I can't remember, this East Indian guy, but he's big. His hands were big. And I swear, this man's grip, he could squeeze open a coconut. And his job was to massage away the scar tissue inside my arm. So imagine somebody massaging you so hard that they're trying to dislodge pieces of flesh inside your body. That's what he was doing. When they took out these staples and I could use my arm, it was locked. My elbow was locked like this. This was my range of motion. And Anna Salvatore, twice a week, had to break the calcification in the joint. Now, I'm going to tell you what that felt like. Put your arm. I could do this because of Godfrey Arajo, because of his team, because of Anna Salvatore and her team. I could do this. I lost 1 degree. I remember the first time I was able to touch my shoulder. It was such an amazing thing. I can't fold down my collar easily. Like if I put on a tie, that's stress. But I barely lost anything, and I could have lost my arm. So perspective. But if you stretch your arm open as far as it could go, and then have somebody come and press it beyond that, that was my twice a week. She used to put her full body weight this way and that way. And then they sent me home, and I had to practice stuff. So like I'd put my arm on the ground, and I would be like this. It can't go flat, this is like this. And then Joshua would come with a full, you know, the big blue bottles of water that they put in the machines to make water. He'd rest it on my hand and slowly let it go. And the weight of that 5 gallon, I want to tell you, I got so accustomed to crying. I mean, crying was just normal to me because that pain was constant. I'll tell you the story because I told the story again. That happened to me in 2008. One of those nights lying down on that hospital bed, I said, you know what? I am going to commit. Because up till that point, I'm driving a Prado. The vehicle I had before that was a 5 Series BMW with sunroof. I was living the life. I had the first Motorola flip phone in Trinidad and Tobago. And to people who don't know what that means, that was like cutting edge. I had the first black razor. And that's what it was. I was defined by that. So I tell you these things. When I talk about people and their need, watch the man, my tie rack, I still have it. My tie rack bought tens of thousands of dollars. You think Faris Nashi? Jokey. Had it nice. But I knew this is not what life is about. And my story of life and the things that I've experienced made it that I had to understand that life is not about gather and consume and die. Life is not about that. To the people who have millions and billions, if you're not out there helping people, you're not even worth the piss that you piss. Life has blessed you. You don't bless nobody else. It could be random. It could be chance. You could think, because they tell themselves, you know, they tell me it's hard work. And I know it's not. I know how much luck has to play, how much effort you had to make to dislodge other people so that you could be wealthy. I know the plays. I've been that player. I've been that game. I know what it's like. I know, and I want to tell you, I had a dream once. At the height of my game, I used to build nightclubs. I mean, I was sugar. I was the girl them sugar. I used to build nightclubs. They loved me bad. And I had a dream once. The realest dream I ever had. That there were 2 holes below my armpits and that maggots was pushing their way out. I didn't have to go and check no dream reader to know that it meant that I was rotting on the inside. Now I'm telling you, all of my life. A fella called Coralal Rampasad asked me to send him a picture of my palm. I sent it to him. I don't believe in everything, but I like to, people, he said he sent it to somebody without telling them who I was. And he said the reading that he got back on my palm, he said politically, you are exactly where you need to be. People have read on me, Living Water Community at 19, the reading they got for me, and different organizations, that there's a call on my life. Now you entitled to believe whatever you want, and I respect everybody else. But I want to tell you this. Every time that I ignore it, and I live that Nashi life, life has come and just bowl me over. And I don't have a choice. Service is what I have to do with my life. You watching me right now, wealthiest fool in Babylon, live your life. Cut coral walls and walk through the house and touch it and tell yourself you'll live forever, and see if that make it true. I want to tell you this. They have a saying, when life blesses you, don't build a higher wall, build a longer table. I'll never forget how disgusted I was when I saw that St. Finbar's Church had to put up fences, a security booth 24 hours a day, and electric fencing on top. And I thought to myself, if the church is so disconnected from the community that the community want to rob the church missed something. And it's the responsibility of the church. We want to lambaste the poor, you know. It's easy. Watch now. Flex your brain, flex your words, cuss them, kick them in the face. We wanna say all kind of thing about them. What we don't understand is, and I want to tell you this, there was a show called Crash. Crash? You want to watch that show? There's another show with this guy who died just the other day, Belafonte, and John Travolta. I can't remember the name of that show, but search those two actors together, Harry Belafonte and John Travolta. Watch that show. Watch Crash. It'll help you get a little insight. If you don't have the insight, it'll help you. Plenty of people don't need to search for that. You want your porn 24/7 a day. Let them blow smoke up your bamsi as you wake up. No problem. Let them put the toothpaste on the toothbrush for you and pre-brush you. No problem at all. But at some point, they have an Arabic saying that when pleasure remains, it doesn't remain a pleasure. That is why people who have swimming pools don't swim in their own pool. It's guests and visitors who come and swim in your pool. Because when pleasure remains, it doesn't remain a pleasure. Our lives have to have a purpose. There is something called the hierarchy of needs. And you cannot escape that. You cannot. You could imagine the height of desperation and starvation that it took for somebody to brew the coffee beans that a civet in the jungle shit out. You ought to have nothing else. That has become the symbol of the most expensive thing in the world. The most expensive coffee in the world are those beans that a civet shits out on the forest floor. But the first person to brew those beans wasn't rich. Oxtail expensive now in the grocery, but oxtail used to get thrown out in the butcher store. You used to save them having to go to the garbage dump by coming and take what they call the pedestrian cuts of meat. The foot, the ears, the nose, the face, the head, the tail. Those things. The butchers at the end of the cutting wanted those things. If you could have come and take that, boom. Pigtail now, pigtail is Mr. Pigtail, oxtail is Mr. Oxtail, and all of that. But I'm saying to Trinidad and Tobago, the reason our country is a shithole is not because we're not blessed. We are blessed beyond measure. There is no country in the world, no America, no Russia, no England, no France, no Spain, no Germany, no Italy, no Japan, no France, nothing that you could tell me. There is no country, there's no island in the Caribbean. There is nothing more blessed than Trinidad and Tobago. Trinidad and Tobago is biblical Eden. No matter what you tell yourself, no matter what you tell yourself, I want to tell you this. You see where reggae and dancehall gone? You see the size of the influence in the world? Rihanna is a multi-billionaire. Come Mr. DJ, sample the replay. Come Mr. DJ, turn the music up. You see that shit? See that? See Sean Paul and them fellas? See that music? See Bob Marley? All of us just want to go in smoke a little weed and shake your imaginary locks. You see that? All that come from Calypso. We don't know what we have. Trinidad Calypso. Trinidad's Calypso. I'm going to say it slow. For those in the back. Trinidad's Calypso is the root of reggae, dancehall, and everything else that those influenced. And that's amazing. But in Trinidad, the People's National Movement turned Calypso into poison. And it's shit. And our Calypsonians in the main are sold out corrupt shithounds, passing off clever racist drivel to divide the country and the community. We the people of Trinidad and Tobago, we took Eden from the Bible. We took it and shit on it. Keith Rowley, Patrick Manning, George Chambers, Eric Williams should all, if there is a hell, roast in hell for all eternity. For all. For all. And Bastio Pandey needs to join them when he shuffles off this mortal coil. You see power? You see political power don't sleep as long as people sleeping on cold concrete outside the Royal Bank. And don't give me no excuse of why they're there. Don't tell me they're choosing that. You're pissing on my back and you're telling me rain falling. Don't tell me that. Don't give me the bullshit about it. Boy, don't take on them people in the beat and them have dish. Miss me with your bullshit. Life hard in the beat up. Life hard. They're beating thing all the throw away. And we living here in this country. Well, give me more. That's how we live in. They climbing up Goodwood Park Hill. Chinley reach the top. The next person's house had to be floating. Where you going now? We reach the top. Where you going? Live forever, you know. Live forever. Don't die. Because it'll all be for nothing. Somebody else will go and piss on your house. Somebody else will lie down in your bed, have their toes played with, not you. And if your legacy is not all the people you help, and I tell you this, I don't give a shit about any other politician. When I told Gary Griffith he could kiss my ass, it is because I am fed up of these political opportunists. He was the last person that I had any belief in. And all he did was betray all of us. I like to know that when I go downtown, the homeless still know my name. They know me by name. To see me around the savannah, they know I used to come and look for them and bring food. I remember the first time we created something, a girl by the name of Melissa Janu. I don't even know where she is right now. But she was a part of the Jericho project. And she and I and we, all of us, we came up with this idea. Came up with this idea called a care package. And we would go after the Christmas Day feeding, after Boxing Day, on a day, inside a day when nobody's going to look for the homeless, we would go and our supporters would give us toothpaste, soap, shampoo, conditioner, razors, feminine hygiene products for the women, towels, bags, and we'd go and hand the homeless that. And judging you. Care package. Some would sell it. Some would definitely sell it to get drugs or alcohol or whatever. You can't decide. I used to remember when I used to want to give people my heart. I have the heart of a giver. And I want to give people money. Because it's easy to do. But I know you're going to take that money and buy crack. You're going to take that money telling you, lecturing you, don't buy no drugs with this money. Don't buy no alcohol with this money. Go and buy food. Take care of your family. Like wasting my freaking time. Or again, I ain't getting no money. I'm going to buy a coconut drops and a mobile. You want that? You take... Somebody tell me this. So the perfect act of giving stops at the gift. It's not your concern what they do with it. It's not your business. The perfect act, I have never forgotten that. People give you guidance in life. Take it. The perfect act of giving stops at the gift. I am no longer able to tell you who I helped and how many times. I just thank them. Every opportunity I get to help somebody, I thank them for giving my life purpose. Thank you for bearing that burden so that my life could have a purpose and a reason. Because I can't just be one of those people making expensive shit in the toilet bowl and flushing it. Last night I ate a $5,000 meal and this morning I shit it into the toilet bowl. Whoosh. I can't be one of them. I can't. Cannot. Now I'm a son of a bitch, eh? I'm a jackass. I could be a real asshole. There are times I do things and I tell myself, you know, Philip, you was a real asshole there. But we all are. None of us perfect. None of us are the best. None of us. None of us are happy beyond reason. None. Nobody. Chinley all the way up on the top of Goodwood Park Hill, miserable. And I know the whole family miserable. Most of the wealthy people are because they bought into the bullshit. Then if you give your life, and that's why Anthony Sabga's life wasn't a good life. He would sit down every now and then on the balcony and play with the children and laugh a little bit, but in his mind he working. Trapped in that give me more till they're dead. Bastille Pandey cannot enjoy his life. He thinks that without politics, remember him? Winston Ducaran! For all your tears and all your woes, when they come to rape your mother, that was the night he was supposed to graciously accept defeat. And he can't, because demons drive him. And I want to tell you all this. I was told, this was said to me, and I say it to other people. If it is God's plan that I become Prime Minister of this country, nothing anybody do could stop it. And if it is not his plan, nothing I could do could make it happen. So I just show up every day, work very, very hard. You saw this video, I told you all. They say a day is a long time in politics, today is a year. And I'm outside here looking in 3 cameras right now doing a video. Because all I want for this country, and this is all I have ever wanted for this country, is that every single person in this country could have a good life. And we could do that. We could make that happen. We could stop the bullshit of some businessmen in this country have access to a deep hole of finance and credit and a money pit that nobody knows where it comes from. They have access to all the foreign exchange in the world that they could pack their shelves with shit so much that it's overflowing, that they have things expiring, that they're put on special and on sale. And they have other people who can't get $200 to put a child in school abroad and suffering and their business closing down. That is criminality. And I will wipe that clean off Trinidad and Tobago. Wipe it clean. I promise you this. There is nobody that looks like me, related to me, that have any access to me, that can come and tell me, we're going to do it so, we're going to do it so. That is why Gary Griffith and I couldn't work together. And all of y'all who calling me and saying, boy, Phil, we gotta link up. All that link up. When all that link up, we're going to be throwing the PNM. The more they talk that shit, is the stronger the PNM getting. That's not the solution. And the UNC has become a shit show. And people are now leaving in droves. They are leaving, they're talking heads. Don't even want to talk anymore. They get a horn today. A big man in the... Every day is another horn. We had 2 little UNC members join our party, David Welch and Precious Cruikshank. And we gave them posts one time because that's us. 100. We treat everybody who come through the door in the Progressive Empowerment Party. We give you 100 points. You do what you want with it. You could maintain your 100 points, like people like Joanne and Pat Jaikaran and Ian Griffith, Satish Ramsaran, Felicia Holder. I mean, we have people around us. I tell you, Lakshman Ramrup, you know, it's almost like they come assembled by God and handed to you, and you know, this is part of your team now. Go forward. But when these people who came from the UNC, for whatever reason, that they're no longer happy in the Progressive Empowerment Party, they move on. But these people come to tell us, and I watching PNM and UNC's hemorrhage people every day. People say PNM, those votes, those split, bullshit. The first splits in the politics was always PNM. Arthur Napoleon Raymond Robinson took the Tobago vote away from the PNM. He was a deputy political leader and went and formed ACDC that became DAC, that became the NAR. Carl Hudson Phillips took the 1%ers with him and left and formed the Organization for National Reconstruction and said, we must do better. And then the ONR had to join with the DAC and form the NAR and link up with the ULF. And they had an amazing election in 1986 and they won everything. And by 1988, Robbie was the Une of Ife and Pandit took his Indians and left. And the country is a shithole still. And you could find yourself inside of the people who in Club 88 and say, right, take your Indians and go. Or Robbie, yes, be the Une of Ife, whatever. Little men with little dicks making big dick decisions and mash up this country. Keith Rowley, I am telling you this. No matter what he tells you, he is not happy. There is none of them. Stuart Young, miserable. These fellas, right now, they could be getting all the cheap sex they want. People to blow smoke up their ass. You want it cold, you want it hot, how you want it? They get any one of their, any freakiness they want right now. Faris, liking himself. Boys, girls, animals, goats, horse, where on? Liking himself. But it ends. it ends. Ask Pandey. Ask Robbie, Manning, ask them, it ends. The day they didn't want Manning before, the day before, he was test driving a private jet because he was the king. He was the king. Manning wanted to be a king. And he lost the election and they stoned him with rotten mango. And he drove home to Brian's Gate, to a townhouse, smaller than the bathroom at La Fantasy that he spent taxpayers' money, hundreds of millions to build. So Call the Heart and them could go and have people in Malaysia blow freaky smoke up his ass. And this is what is destroying this country. That voters don't understand that Bastio Pandey is a frail, mortal man. Keith Rowley is a frail, mortal man. Tomorrow, they could wake up and say, but what's this twinge? I have a twinge. Doc, what's it twinge? Ask BC Perez. A twinge changes your life. Go and sit down in the oncology unit in St. James Medical Center. Go there. Or ask people who had strokes. My uncle Conrad, living the top of life. Come out the bathroom one morning, running 3 companies, massive companies, I just don't want to call their names. And he felt the pain in his chest. He had to sit down and lie down and then he couldn't breathe. And if it wasn't for the people in the hospital, he wouldn't be breathing anymore. He made it through, taking it day by day. But your life changes. It ends. It doesn't last. It's not forever. Life gives you an opportunity to serve. It blesses you with power. It blesses you with abundance. And your job is to help everybody else. That's the job. I am not going to be the Prime Minister of Goodwood Park. I am not going to be the Prime Minister of Bayshore. They don't need me. Beetham needs me. Morva, Beetham, Lavantil, Sealots need me. Covey and Richplain and Bagatelle and Patna, those places need me. Abipujad and Big Yard and Scorpion and Cocorite and Waterhole and Never Dirty and Gonzales and Belmont, those places need La Hoqueta, Talparo, they need Mbacade. Those are the places that need me. I don't care what Chinley eating for dinner. I don't give a shit. The quality of silk rubbing Sabga's cheeks tonight. I don't care. What I want is to be the Prime Minister of the poor and change their fortunes. 650,000 people in this country live below the poverty line. Of the 20,000 children that do the exam every year to get into big school, half fail. Of the half that go forward, half of them fail. Our education system is shit. And the Prime Minister, who has all the power in the world to fix it, doesn't know how to fix it. He's as dumb as a cinder block. So he calls the school system a failed system. Jackass, you're in charge of it. Get people who could fix it. And if you don't know, fire yourself, because I want the job. I want the job. I want to make the floods go away so we have water in the taps. I want that job. And I don't want to have to do it for some Syrian or some Chinese or some anybody to come and make all the money, bringing in all the pipe and all the joints for the lock joint. I don't want to be part of that. I don't want to be part of the Chamber of Commerce singing my praises. I want to run the country and the economy so properly that everybody don't have to form themselves in the chambers of commerce to rob each other or to disadvantage each other. You don't have to join the lodge to advance. You just need a meritocracy where the people are willing to respect each other and give. I told people in my video this morning, the purpose of work is to exchange labor for money. That's it. That's the agreement. No matter what I give you to sign, I'm exchanging my labor or my knowledge for money. That's it. But if we create an environment where the people feel like not only are they exchanging their labor or their knowledge for money, but they're making a difference, they'll follow you anywhere. And if the demand requires, they'll work for free. I am surrounded by people in the Progressive Empowerment Party that have given up so much in their lives, that have worked for free. When I watch this jackass, this stunting jackass in Chan Ishmael, and he could sue the world, he could sue the world for saying things about him, but he had to ask himself, why would people think those things about him? Inchan Ishmael, who wants to talk about everybody, can explain how he ended up in control of Etek land that he said was for the Muslim community, and people from the community messaging me and thanking me for raising it because they're saying Inchan runs it like it is his and it belongs to them. Would Gary ever say that? No, because Gary benefits from Inchan's nasty mouth. And Inchan doesn't have to be a decent human being because he just wants more. That's what he wants. For all the Muslim talk, he just talk. That's all he wants. More. And he have short man syndrome bad. You know, he's not the prettiest fool in Chaguanas. So you have to have a big mouth and come and cuss everybody. And he's been doing that his whole life. When Inchan Ishmael finally dies, comes to the end of his life, the world will be a better place that he's gone. His boastful arrogance that he helps people who are suffering is not good for the people who are suffering. If you're helping people, hush. Hush. A lot of us helping them too. We don't need no camera, we don't need a soapbox, we don't need to play. And I passed through them days of wanting people to see me help. The perfect act of giving stops at the gift. If you are this age and you're still fighting the look at me, go and dig up your father, wherever he is, and hug him. Because it's a hug you need. That's what you need. You somebody to say, you're a good boy. I love you. That's what you're looking for. Get some therapy. Go and speak to a counselor. I am so ashamed of Inchan and Gary and everything that they represent. And Gary put out a post and said Phillip wanted to do an accommodation and he was rejected. And to Gary, that's a big statement to make. Because Gary knows how small he is. Gary's biggest fear is that everybody realizes how unintelligent he is. Gary is good at spotting talent and surrounding himself with people like Garvin Hero, Sheldon Edgill, and work with their knowledge as if it were his. His biggest fear in the world, when you watch him speak, you know why he talks so much? When you ask him a question, he might when you write a letter, you say always write an article, 19 paragraphs. He can't stop this, because he don't want you to see him. Look at my words. Look at what I have accomplished. Look at when I was commissioner. You ever hear him in an interview? When I was commissioner, people tell me, oh God, somebody shut him up. You're not commissioner anymore. Somebody else is. You called yourself for years Captain Gary Griffith, and everybody was telling you that rank doesn't leave with you. You don't leave as captain. Call yourself captain, commissioner, former minister, former senator, former whatever. Former. What are you now? What are you now? And with none of those offices, Philip Edward Alexander, this is God's work. With none of those offices, Philip Edward Alexander is the biggest, strongest politician in this country right now. Not even Keith Rowley could step to me. Kamala is not going to survive what's going on in the UNC over the next couple of days. And you all brace fit, brace fit. The PNM is cocky enough to call UNC ministers and members and supporters to come to the PNM because everybody knows the writing is on the wall. The three factions that broke apart in the UNC is just greed. All of them who went there, they went for greed. They went to see what they could get. All of them, the entire Senate of the UNC, all of it represents gimme. Give me attention, give me money, give me a life, give me something. Look at them. Look. The next couple of days. So Gary and Inchan climbing on board a sinking ship. The only political movement to represent Trinidad and Tobago is the Progressive Empowerment Party. This is not about African and Indian. I have two hands in that party. Two. Satish Ramsaran and Felicia Holder. And between them, they represent everything that is Trinidad and Tobago. Every single thing, every optic you could think of. And they've given up their lives and their own personal successes. They're two brilliant people. Felicia Holder and Satish Ramsaran could write their ticket anywhere. Two brilliant people. And they have stayed committed to this movement to fight for this country. Gary can't find two like them. Gary have to bring employees that he used to pay. Because if you're not paying them, they're gone. That is not leadership. That is authority. And there's a difference. And I want him to understand that he represents the failure of politics in this country. And putting out that post and saying Phillip was rejected. You know why Phillip made himself available? Not just the fact that Gary came on all the videos and made all the hints and all of us going forward together. He, in his mind, with the delusions of grandeur that he has, jump out the job thinking he is Mr. It. He is Mr. Everybody gonna gravitate to him. Magnet to steal. What happened when he announced the NTA? Nothing. Nothing. All the media time he commanded, all the media people that he bribed, bully, beg, all of them. All that time. I'll be on CNC3 this morning, then TV6, then 102, then 104, then Tobago, and then I'll be in Antigua, and then Grenada. And by the first day, and the fourth interview, we heard everything that you had to say. And every other time that you went anywhere to say anything to anybody about anything, it was the same bullshit. And people got fed up of the arrogance of him telling everybody that he was the best commissioner the country ever knew. And that was bullshit. Because at the height of a lockdown, 6 months of the country locked down completely, the murder rate went up. And Gary Griffith is arrogant enough to tell people, not just Trinidad, all over the world. All over the world. So if all over the world is your excuse, for then, why Erla can't say all over the world? Because we just find out that the spike in murders are taking place in Trinidad, going on all through the Caribbean. And I'm not, don't get me wrong, making an excuse for Erla. I think they're all catastrophic failures. Gary, Erla, Phillip, all of them are catastrophic failures. If you didn't go into office, set up a proper internal affairs bureau and clean up the police service, you're wasting time. If you didn't put things in place to give police officers bonuses on everything that they could do so that they could go above and beyond the call of duty, you're wasting time. You didn't put things in place like insurance and pensions for police officers so that they could give their life to this, you wasted your time. If you didn't create a meritocracy and told police officers that when you get this level of, when you achieve a master's or a doctorate in criminology or law, they have automatic steps up. Not just friends and family. You make people like Sergeant Alexander into what? He's head of sort now. He's acting this and former that. And when he talks, does it inspire confidence in law enforcement to you? No. He's a throwback to the days of the British where they look for the biggest, strongest man they could find, like Elephant Walk and Randolph Burrows, and scare the shit out of the population. Modern policing is not scaring the shit out of the population. Modern policing works with the social development, management part aspects of the country and make sure that people, long before you have to jail them or shoot them or charge them, that you give them options to right-size their own life. Because at the end of the day, the state needs contributing members of society. All of them have failed. All of them. They failed miserably. The country is a shithole. Every minister of national security that allowed the country to remain a cocaine, drug trafficking paradise, all failed. All. And we've spent trillions of dollars, $9 billion every year. Ministry of National Security buying helicopters 4 and 5 times the price so people can put money in their pocket. And everybody want to go down DDI and like this. Look at me. I'm a 1% now. No. That's not what the people of Trinidad and Tobago want. And the people of Trinidad and Tobago are starting to see through all of the bullshit. And that's why when Ichan Ishmael called that poll, you see, now they had to go and find MYOB. What was the name of the thing? I can't remember what the name was. That did a poll for him after, so that people couldn't see the numbers and they couldn't comment. It was just choose one away. Because when you gave people the opportunity to vote, and you didn't give them Phillip Edward Alexander, they wrote in Phillip Edward Alexander. And when you gave them the opportunity to vote and you put Phillip Edward Alexander in there, they told you why they were choosing Phillip Edward Alexander. They choked Inchan. And they choked him. So when he opened the phone lines on his show, because I know Gary had to be cussing him. I give you land, I give you contracts, do better. Because that's Gary. You think he garrel us in front of the cameras? When the camera's off, and nobody around him, but I think Nicole Dyer Griffith, she deserves a national award for putting up with that. And I tell you that. I know he must be cussing, Sean. Y'all come and take my land. If it's possible. So Inchan had to have a show. And bad talk Philip, bad talk him. He's a mother ass, cans of hope, he's a one-man party, nobody don't like it. And every single person that call you, putting you in your place. Putting you in your place. And telling you why they like Philip Alexander and why you're wrong. And you can have your opinion. He cutting across people and he cussing them. He tell one man, you're sucking rum bottle. And I wonder if the rest of the Muslim community that upholds breaking barriers and that IBN thing, I wonder if this is what they want for their community. To send a spokesperson on their behest to tell people you're sucking rum bottle. Yeah? That's your answer because somebody disagrees with you politically. Eh? Who is a wrong Philip? You see anybody wrong Philip? Somebody had to call him and ask him, but the amount of things that Philip gets done. Cannot be a one-man show. He forced people to write all kind of articles. It's all over social media. I stumbling upon things every day. Inchan send me 2 voice notes. I forwarded to Satish. I don't want to hear you anymore. Inchan, I had forgiven you for your nastiness. You had done me so much nastiness for politics in my life. And in the name of Andrea Barrett, when we all shook hands, I said, you know what? Water under the bridge. And I forgave you. But you proved, brother, everything that everybody have ever said about you, you proved it to be true. That you're a snake, and you're not a nice person, and that you're an opportunistic hog, and you're just in this to try and get wherever you could for yourself. You're just riding this wave right now. But I will make sure that this is that was the last wave you ride. No more for you. We've had enough of political opportunists in this country. We do not need Gary Griffith and we do not need Inchan Ishmael. I see that clear mind. And there will be no more. Don't look for down the way, down the road, somehow. That is not me. I am not that kind of politician. I met with Tim Gopi Singh, twice. I met with Tim Gopi Singh to discuss the UNC twice, recently. And I met with Tim as a friend. Because I know Tim Gopi Singh, and I met him, I know him and people in his world and in his life, and he knows people in my world and my life. So when he said he wanted to talk to me, I didn't meet with him on behalf of Kamala. But I spoke to him, and we looked at options. And none of the options worked with Kamala's handlers, because gimme. So no problem, carry on. Look at what you did to the party. There's nothing left. The UNC is dead. The UNC is not going to do well in this local government election. And the UNC supporters need to understand, if they don't want the PNM to win, they have to come across to the Progressive Empowerment Party. There's nothing else. There's no Watson Duke, there's no Gary Griffith, there's no Congress of the People. All of those things, all of those illusions are over. The Congress of the People is led by 2 men, a fellow called Lonsdale and an ex-man called Kurt Sinnott. Kurt is a nice guy, but I had to tell somebody today, the Congress of the People is the rapper that you find on the ground after a fete. Nobody goes there to pick that up and say, I want that. There is nothing left. There is nothing left. Neither of them have anything of value at that level to contribute, but they could contribute at a proper level serving. And both of them vexed because I'm the only person tell them that. So Tuesday they're going to be a press conference again. And they're going to want to come on board and we don't want to deal with Phillip. No problem, because I'm too honest. And I tell you too straight. The Congress of the People is over. Over. And we don't need to make the list of fake names. Look at what's going on in the UNC. People breaking off the UNC, going and form a new party and come back and say, I want to partner with the UNC. You're just going back home. Gavin Nicholas looking to go back home. Gavin, what you do for anybody in all of the time you on your sojourn, on your sabbatical away from the UNC, where you get a Kobo sweat as an Attorney General, where you get a nice life to go and eat fancy food and drink fancy wine as a High Commissioner or an Ambassador. What have you done for anybody of value? But I am open to talks. Miss me with your bullshit. You open to talks. You're going back home. Gary Griffith going back home. This is all they know. They can't build nothing, and they can't be part of anything that is bigger than them, because ego, you see, little dick politics keeps us back. They can't do it, but they can't support somebody who they feel they're bigger than who can. Ego eating them up. So the people who are best able to run the country and fix things in the country have never had public office. I come to change that. That is my job, to break down those walls that have kept back the people who could fix this country. No more you're going to reward a little stunting Oompa Loompa jackass like Rohan Sinanan, who should be still packing a grocery shelf somewhere, and make him the Minister of Works and Transport just to hand out contract. Gimme. Go and cut through an old world forest so your plastic face wife could get a highway to she boudoir in Manzanilla. We ain't fed up of that yet. We're not sick and fed up of it. No. The Progressive Empowerment Party gives you the opportunity to use your vote as a referendum. For the first time, the people have somebody who was able to say, when they offer big position in the UNC, come, we go take care of you. No thanks. As work out in the gym with two of Keith Rowley's biggest advisors, a man and a woman, and two of them every single day want to give me a reason why I should be in the PNM. No thanks. I'm not in politics for me. If you see a version of Philip Edward Alexander after you make me Prime Minister with jewelry, as an imposter. If you see me in a fancy car, as an imposter. If you see me with flashy clothes and brands, with pocket squares, that's an imposter. I am here to be a servant who leads and a leader who serves. That's it. I am no longer holding space, opening doors, trying to accommodate people like Gary. Gary was my friend, and I thought that that was my role in life. Gary had a role to play, and bring him on board and help him. Gary could go on to his destiny now, because he have a lot of crying in his future. He have a lot of reality to face, and I feel sorry for him, because the night of the screams that a man goes through, when it dawns on him that he is not all that he thinks that he is, that's a difficult thing. I've had mine. I know. I have had my lie down in hospital beds. I've had lose everything and lie down on a carpet, own nothing in the world and start over. I've been through it. I slept in cars. I went through it. God and life has given me experiences that I know what people feel. I know. Me and my partner Marlon Eskai, there was a time in my life when I had nothing. I had lost everything. And me and Marlon Eskai, my partner, he died now. He died just before COVID. God rest his soul. He was one of my best friends in the world. He's like a brother. Me and Marlon didn't eat food for 3 days. We had nothing. We had no money. All we pride. And hungry. And I was just going through some boxes of stuff. Reorganizing things. Gain yourself something to do because you had nothing to do. I tell you, I lost everything. And I found a mayonnaise jar. One of them mayonnaise jar that you just pack up everything that you had, and when you just fling coins in a basket or anywhere, and this mayonnaise jar, all them coins, when I was packing up my stuff, I put it in this mayonnaise jar. When we found that, but we went to us grocery and we buy chicken wings, sugar and rice, season it, and come back home and make stew chicken and rice. And brother, the best meal I have ever eaten in my life. I can still remember sucking the Jesus out of them bones. There's nothing left. I know. You could watch me in my face and tell me. I know. When I talk to my Syrian family, who's so stupid that they just want, give me, I want more, like it'll make you better than you are. Like somehow, Sabga, which of the Sabgas? Who took with them? Who got a day longer? You're a fool. All of you should wake up tomorrow and you say, you know what? I want to fix this country. I want to help. I want to help the poor. I want to lift it from the bottom. That's what power is for. That's what blessed with abundance is for. That is what people will remember you. Not he had the most massaged dick in Goodwood Park. People don't remember that. People remember people who changed the world, who changed lives for people. They will name things after you, not forced, not stunting. They will name it in reverence and appreciation. That this person who had so much and could have done so much for themselves did so much for others. Be somebody that people remember. Be somebody that changes the world. Because life bless you, Bob Marley said it. When you're up, look down on those behind and pull them up. Here, man, we know all of it. The voters in this country now are faced with a choice. Try to uphold the racist and corrupt PNM or UNC, or leave them both in droves. Abandon them. No matter what they promise you, and they tell you that they have power now. But remember when Manning gets stoned with that mango, he didn't have power anymore. Remember when Bastille Pandey gets sent home, he had no more power. And I want to tell you, and I'm calling their names, so you understand. Robbie say, after they throw him out in 1991, he said he walked through this country like he had political AIDS. Nobody would talk to him. You have power for a brief time, for a purpose. It is not for you to like yourself. Marcus Aurelius said, the day of you, what is it? The days of you basically raising your own self will come to an end. Glorifying yourself. The days of you glorifying yourself are almost at an end. Joyce Meyer say all the pieces are going to go back in the box. I don't care who hearing me right now and the hair on their back twitching because they vex. They go in the lodge next week and say, boy, if that man, if you can only kill him, boy. I hear talk like that. Because nobody want to face the truth of who they are. But we, the people of this country, have suffered too long from stunted, greedy, racist politics. To the East Indian people still supporting the US, he's still taking chain up from jackass like people like Anna Munsami. I want you to understand this. Nowhere in the world, nowhere outside of Trinidad, do Africans and Indians have a quarrel. Nowhere. To the people of African descent, please, stop taking Fitzgerald Hines shit. Fitzgerald Hines is living in a 5-story house in Hillsborough. He was a policeman drawing $6,000 a month salary before he get into politics, and politics put him in a 5-story mansion in Hillsborough. When Fitzgerald Hines come to beat Cokie Broom on your street sign in Beetham, it's not because he want to live in Beetham. It's not because he want to care about Beetham. It's because he's beaten the vote out. But after that, he gone back Hillsborough. And you have to ask yourself, if these politicians have given themselves so much glorification over all these years at our expense, when does our turn come? $3 trillion passed through this country, the third wealthiest nation in the Western world, and we have nothing to show for it. It is time. It's time. And there's nothing left for them to do wrong, for you to realize it has to end. You have all the say. You put them there. Take them down from there. Put a servant who leads and a leader who serves in office. Let us fix it. 5 years is all we need, 5 years. In 5 years, the waters that flood will go into your taps, cleaned and pure. So you don't have to buy bottled water and tank and pump and all that shit anymore. 5 years, easy to fix. There's a dot. Decentralized WASA. So every community, every constituency would have responsibility for its own water. With a constituency board of supervisors, there'd be a supervisor for public utilities, electrical, cable, water. 1 of 41 throughout the country, answerable to a minister, but acting on the ground by you, that you could fire. Imagine Trinidad and Tobago, after you move away from all of these political shit snakes. We've suffered from political cancer, metastasized to the bone. This country has political gangrene. We need to amputate it. The PNM and the UNC are the hate that brews and bubbles up in this country. All of the murder and all of the violence is facilitated by political corruption. Money is sent to gangs that are funded by the drug trade. Trinidad is a brutal example of what happens to a country if you put shithounds to run it. But I want to tell you something. I want the opportunity without any PR, without any fanfare, to fix the important things, to make sure that all of the children don't waste their lives in a wasted school system, that all of the people who want a proper job could have one, and all the people who have a job and want to own a home could. Gone will be the days of people owning 300, 400, 500 houses to hide drug money and corruption money. Give me a chance. I know where the wheels are. I know where they are. I know how to go and uproot them. There's only one politician in this country that stood up for you in Wildflower Park and this morning in the park down by Victoria Square, by Murray Street. Let me tell you something. Those things are indicative of who you are. Look at all the other politicians. And I ask you, tell them debate us. I want to debate my entire life's work, my entire life's body of work as an activist. I want that on the table. You bring all the jobs that you've had, the taxpayers have paid you, and contrast and compare. What have you done for people? How are lives changed because you existed? And I want that opportunity. Let them debate. Show us what you know. You have degrees. You have 14 degrees. You have more degrees than a thermometer. You're more educated than me. Show me you're more knowledgeable than me. Let's debate. Let's debate with open phone lines. Let the citizens call in and ask questions. And all of us must answer the same question for the same 2 minutes. And at the stroke of 2 minutes, turn off your microphone. So if you're still talking, you're talking to yourself. Get it said in 2 minutes. No matter what they ask for all of us. And each of us answer first one of the time. Just alternated. So everything is fair. All of a sudden you will see what real leadership is supposed to sound like. I beg for that opportunity of a debate. Not hide and seek, send and release, talking about Phillip. Phillip want to love me. I'm a happily married man. My name is Stacy. You telling me that, bro? Telling me you're happily married? You gonna tell that to your wife? That's the bullshit you want to answer people with and create a narrative about? That I stalking you? Go your way now. You fail, your party fail, you and Inchan fail, and now the party you're going to climb onto, you bring sickness to the UNC. Because it is the threat of you coming on board the UNC that push it over, everybody running to the PNM. It's time for better Trinidad and Tobago. I make myself available to serve. I want to give my country, I want to give it a chance to be first world, to be developed. I want you to boast about me the way Singapore boasts about Lee Kuan Yew. I want to stand shoulder to shoulder with Norway and Finland and Japan. I want to stand with countries that work. I want the people of Trinidad and Tobago to not be signatories to all this bullshit where organizations outside of Trinidad and Tobago will dictate what we put in our children. You're mad? The sovereign state. We build a wall. Do all this shit outside. When they're fed up and all they're tired, you can come and visit us and have a holiday. Clean-blooded people. We don't need your bullshit here. I want a better country. You want one? We have an opportunity in this local government election that is nothing. It's not important, but it's important as a referendum. Come out. We're working hard to get candidates. Do you want to serve? Right now, the Progressive Empowerment Party riding high. You will be politically sexy. Women will want to date you. Men want to come out and take you for dinner. Come and join us. Call 796-8172 right now. WhatsApp me, 682-2110. And write down those numbers. That's my number. Satish number is 796-8172. If you want to serve, come and serve. Send us WhatsApps. Send us messages. We have 9 more days. Come on board. 9. Come and be a part of this glorious movement that will take this nation away from the humdrums and the suffering that 62 years of racist, tribal, corrupt politics has put on us. Take us to a place where the sun could shine on all of our people. If you would like to help us financially, we need money. We have to pay deposits for 141 candidates in 9 days. We have to have volunteers. Well, not really volunteers. We have to have observers for the election in each of those polling stations. And we have to make sure, and there's hundreds, and we have to make sure to feed them and to transport them. And you need that because we need that because the PNM and the UNC can trust them to thief. Them will thief milk and sugar out of coffee already made. We have to make sure that we inside there and we protect each and every vote so that at the end of the day and at the end of the night, when they count those votes, they will paint that screen orange and Trinidad and Tobago will scream in joy, in euphoria. We're free at last at the local government level. But you see that referendum? That'll give us an opportunity going into the general election. If we win the local government election, if you paint that screen orange, we'll shut the country down. Let's get to the general election, brother. Let's get to stepping. The people have said they don't want either of you. They are giving us a mandate. They want us to fix the country. Give us the opportunity. Yeah? That's where we are. That's where we need to go. Fix our justice system, fix our laws, fix how we administer our justice to the people, so that all of our people are treated the same way, that benefit the same way under all agencies of state. That is the country we should all have a vision of, a better Trinidad and Tobago for everybody. Leave none of our people behind. If you want that, there's a Progressive Empowerment Party. My name is Phillip Edward Alexander. I am the political leader of that party, and we are asking you for your vote so we could serve you. Until tomorrow, stay safe, Trinidad.